Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing an awesome deck profile of my Mayakashi deck. Yes, Mayakashi's, guys, is a deck that I've had for a long time actually. I've always wanted to do this deck profile around Halloween. However, there's always been other deck profiles taking precedence. I've actually played this deck for a long period of time. I will say I've always liked them because of their aesthetic artwork and because of the lore they have along with Shiranui's. If you guys do not know, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore of things, Mayakashi actually have a lore based along with Shiranui's, which is really cool. And we will be doing a Shiranui deck profile in a couple of days, as well as some other zombie deck profiles, quote unquote. So do expect those as we are in the time of Halloween when I'm doing this deck profile. But without further ado, let's get into this deck. Like I said, I love this archetype for its aesthetics. I love for its synchro capacity to do a bunch of different cool, awesome synchro plays and just be very versatile in that nature. I found that when this deck initially came out, Master Rule 5 to some degree hindered this deck's capacity, but now that it's Yu-Gi-Oh's changed, it's different, it's much more better, quote unquote. It's not a meta deck, but it's a super fun deck, and it's better because we're past that. But yeah, let's get into this deck profile. So first we run the 3 Hanjun, the Winged Mayakashi. Forgive me if I butcher any of their names, but the Winged Mayakashi is a really good card in this deck as a 3-of. It's one of your main facilitators of the deck as a level 1. And is really great in this deck. I always thought, I will let you guys know, I always thought that this headdress he was wearing was actually his hair until one day I really looked at it closely, like after having this play in this deck for 2 years, and I was going, oh, that's a headdress, that's not his real hair. So there you go, you can all laugh at Seto Kaiba thinking that the headdress was hair. Or just a fancy old school Japanese mullet. I mean, I'm just saying. Next we run double Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi. Daki, I see some people are still running this as a 3-of in their Mayakashi deck. That's up to you to decide. She's actually one of the original reasons I wanted to build this deck, because I just thought aesthetically she just looked great as a card, as a secret rare. I was like, I gotta build this deck, just because these cards look cool, and that one looked really cool. And also I really like zombie-based strategies for the revival of things. But great card. Like I said, some people still run this as a 3-of. I like it as a 2-of now. And it's one of your main tuners for your deck as well. Next we run 3 Yuki Mizumi of the Ice Mayakashi. Back when this card initially came out, I ran this as a 3-of. I find nowadays that I like it as a 2-of, more or less. You can still run this card as a 3-of if you really wish. I think there's nothing wrong with that, but I found that there was other cards I wanted to run, and that this card kind of bricked to some degree at 3-of, so I just like it as a 2-of. But you can play around with the ratio and run what you want, but I like it as a 2-of. I'm so happy they printed it as a super rare when they came out in the special edition. Next we run 2 Doom King Balladrock, and the thing I want to mention about this part of the deck, guys, is there's 2 real ways to run a Mayakashi deck. You have the Bone Tower build, which is a mill strategy that Mayakashis can run because of some of their synchro cards, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that strategy. That is a legit strategy, and for a long period of Mayakashi's history, it was the main strategy of Mayakashi's we're known for. But there's another way you can do it, which you could run a zombie world build of Mayakashi's as well. So there's 2 real different ways you can build the Mayakashi deck. You can go down a mill version with Mayakashi Bone Tower, or you can go down the version of you're running a zombie world version. I chose to go down the route of the zombie world version of the deck, and while it's more aggressive, it has more power plays compared to what I don't want to call it a passive build of Mayakashi's with the mill strategy. It just fit more of how I like to play my zombie decks and how I like to play this deck. So just want to put that out there. If you're running a mill variation, go right ahead. That's perfectly fine. But yes, we run 2 Doom King Balladrock. He's your main deck boss monster to some degree. Along with that, we run a lot of just generic good zombie support. Things like a Jack-o'-Bullen as a 1-of. This is pretty staple in any zombie deck nowadays, especially if you're running Zombie World. And also 1 Vampire Furloin, staple 1-of zombie that's run in just about every zombie deck, quote unquote, because of just availability to be a good card in zombie strategies. In addition to that, we are also running other zombies, generic stuff, because zombies have a lot of good generic cards. We're running 2 Mizuki. I find 2 Mizukis perfectly fine in this deck, along with the 1 Gozuki. So double Mizuki, 1 Gozuki. I like that ratio right now in a lot of my zombie decks, but some versions I like 3 of, some versions I like 2 of Mizuki. It just depends on what I'm trying to do with the deck, really. But 1 Gozuki and 2 Mizuki. Generic zombie support guys. You know how this deck works. Next, same thing. It's kind of funny that you're running it too in this deck, but 3 Shiranui Squire. Yeah, guys. It's just funny that this card you could run in the story of Mayakashi because they tie in together, so it's just kind of funny and cool and ironic, even though it's just good zombie generic support for Lone Fire type cards. But 3 Shiranui Squire. Usually when I do this, I run triple. I just run double Unizombie, but I'm actually running triple Unizombie. I'll put this up here for you guys. So in addition to running that, I'm running triple Unizombie. The reason for this is I find that I really want to dump things to grave a lot more faster. Depending upon my zombie decks and how I'm playing it, sometimes I like 2 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, like different ratios, right? I find that every different zombie player under the sun, as I've talked to some and I've gotten some comments, run their zombie decks with these cards at different ratios. Everybody does, but I find that it works. It just depends on the zombie deck you're running. But for this build, I like 3 and 3. It's worked out for me. You can play around with what you want to see how it works for you. Next up, we run 1 Glow Up Bloom and 1 Necro Word Banshee. These are just good zombie support cards you're going to run because you're running Zombie World in the deck. And the last zombie monster I run is 1 Shiranui Spiritualist. Yes, another Shiranui card. But this is going to also help you out with your other card you're going to run in the deck, which is Shiranui Style Swallow Slash, which can help you pop things on the field, get rid of problematic cards, which is really nice for this deck. So, for that reason, I'm also running this guy as well. Next up, we run 3 Mayakashi Return, which is kind of like a searcher for the deck, quote unquote. I think this card, when I saw this card initially, I really was intrigued by it because of how pretty good it is. Like how decently good it is for any zombie deck. But I really do like this card in the deck. I do run 1 other card, guys, in this deck, which is another Mayakashi card. Some people run it in their deck Mayakashi builds, some people do not. But I am running 1 Mayakashi Winter as well. Winter is a nice little card that came out a couple sets about a year or so ago when we got new Mayakashi support. It's versatile, I find. The attack, to lower your opponent's attack, does come in handy, I will be honest with that. But also its ability to get zombies away on the grave, to draw a card, to reborn stuff. It's just versatile. It's kind of like some of the Shiranui trap cards. People don't run them, but I find that they can be versatile and useful. So I do like the 1 Mayakashi Winter. You don't need to run it. But I like it. It's very useful and it's kind of searchable to some degree. So, yep, that's all for the Mayakashi spells. Let's run to our generic stuff now. We run 3 Super Poly, guys. This is because we're running 3 Zombie World. Zombie World, like I said, is pretty. This is the build we're running with this deck. Now there are other targets you could run for your Super Poly. Mainly, I'm focusing on Nether Soul Dragon, but you can run Venom Star Dragon if you want to as well. Up to you. But 3 Zombie World, 3 Super Poly. It goes hand in hand together because of the different things you could do. And Super Poly with this pretty much really does for this deck when you have Zombie World out. Allows you to just pretty much just get rid of problematic cards on the field. It helps you suck up a field or get rid of boards. It's really nice. But Zombie World's also going to work with another card we'll talk about here in a bit as well. Next up we run just some generic spells here, guys. So 1-1-for-1, we do have targets for it. We're setting things up in grave. We're getting monsters out into the field. It's all a good time. 1 Foolish Burial for a zombie-based strategy. Why would you not be foolish? You would be foolish not to. Run it. 1 Monster Reborn, bring things back, recycle things. It's pretty generic here, guys. Like, there's not much more to say. For your other cards, we run some traps. We run the 2 Shiranui style Swallow Slash. This is going to work with some of your Shiranui cards, and it's really good because it can help get rid of problematic cards on field, pop cards. It's just really good removal for this deck, and it's very easy to run. It fits well with the deck, and I like it. I really do. And lastly, I run 2 Rivalry of Warlords. Now, this is kind of like a Floodgate-esque trap for this because we're running a Zombie Worlds version of this deck. I will say, though, it's a good card, but it's I know some people like running this as a 3 of in their Zombie World deck. Because what this card is, guys, it's really funny. It works well with Zombie World. That's what this card does. It works well in tangent with Zombie World, and it's really nice. But the thing is, guys, it's a good card, but I find that 3 of is a little bricky. I've had problems where I open 2 of these and no Zombie World, and I'm looking at my hand, I'm going, ooh, that doesn't help out too much. So I like it as a 2 of. It works well in Zombie World if you get to it. There's some really cool little plays and locks you can do with it, but I don't like 3 of because it does brick. So that's just me. On to the extra deck, guys. Let us get into that now. But let's go. Next, we have our Field Center. We run 2 of the Wheeled Mayakashi. This thing scares me to death, but we run it. Next, the Graceful Mayakashi. We run 2 of that. Pretty much we're running 2 of each of the Synchros. 2 of the Skeleton Mayakashi. And 2 of the Poisonous Mayakashi. We do run the other ones as well, so we'll go into those in a second. But we also run, in addition to that, let me pull this up for you guys here. There we go. Just making sure everything's in focus here. Whoop, there we go. There we go. There we go. But yeah, hope you guys can see all that. So that's the ones we run there. But let's show the other ones off. So next up, we run 2 of the Winged Mayakashi as well. So pretty much 2 of each of the Synchros, guys. That's pretty straightforward. Then we run 1 Yukioni, the Ice Mayakashi, as a 1 of. It's good. Back in the day, I used to run this as a 2 of, not anymore. And Yukioni, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi, I run as a 1 of as well. So these are 2 of the main Mayakashi Link monsters we're running. In addition to that, we're also running 1 Vampire Sucker. This card's going up in price because of that new Vampire support, guys. I'm just saying. Lastly, I run, in addition to this, I'm running 2 Nether Soul Dragons. Nether Soul Dragon's really good. You can run a Venom Starving Dragon if you want to, but I have found that that's just more of like, hey, I ran into a dark type deck. This is going to work well for me. Where Nether Soul Dragon, because I'm a little tight for space, it's going to be generic. I'm going to hit everything if I have Zombie World on the field with Super Poly. So you got your yin and your yang there. So go ahead and run. If you want to run just 1 and then 1 Venom, go right ahead. I like double of this. That's just me. But hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. Like I said, I really, really do enjoy playing this deck. It's one of my favorite decks to play for fun around like the holiday season because it's just such a beautiful deck to play, and it's just generically, I just like this deck playing it. Like anytime I'm just like, hey, I want to play a fun synchro deck, which, you know, the reason I went back into rebuilding it this year is because I was playing Synchrons and all those synchro strategies earlier in the year, and I was like, I want to play that old zombie synchro deck I used to have. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoy this deck. Happy Halloween to you all, and go Mayakashis. Remember, guys, if you want to see more awesome videos, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. And until next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. Thank you all for the support, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody.